3, 2, 1, go.
Hello. This is the former special guest of honor of Dice Tower Con, Ignacy from Portal Games.
And this is the Podfather of Gaming, Stephen Bonacore. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 205, and we are recording it on a beautiful Sunday morning, August 1st, 2021. Board Games Insider is a proud member of the Dice Tower Network, and within the last month, Tom Vassell reviewed Monopoly Builder and Monopoly Speed. I therefore postulate, that means believe, that Tom Vassell is actually a secret lover of Monopoly. What do you think, Ignacy?
If this is true, that would be terrible. I would be devastated.
So he's been going on this like going through all these new Hasbro releases right now and trashing them. Absolutely, completely trashing them. The Monopoly Speed one just got posted, and he said it's the best of the worst. He said it's a 6-minute game, so it's tolerable, not good. 1,000 other good choices, but it's tolerable. But the funniest thing, his Monopoly Builder review from about a month ago is fantastic. Everybody out there, go over to Dice Tower YouTube channel. Check out Monopoly Builder, his review. His outrage on how bad the game is astonishing. It's really funny. He goes so negative, but justifiably so. I mean, they just released such crap, and it's okay for us to say it if it's that bad, and it really is.
Yes, I wonder because I'm not good in American laws. Maybe it is good for you to say it's a crap, but I'm still working in the industry, so maybe they will then, sue me that I am fighting my competition. So you say what I think, please.
No, I don't believe Hasbro believes that any of us are competition at all, so that's okay. Anyway, Ignacy, tell us really what is happening at a good company in the industry, Portal Games.
Yeah, we are actually developing our games, which is quite a difference. The news of the week for us, the news of the week is we are very, very close to release the new version of Neuroshima Hex app. This is the app that many of you guys already have on your iPhones or your iPads. This is the app that we released in 2009. It was second app on the iPad. The iPad was released and there was only 2 apps, the Small World and Neuroshima Hex. So every geek had these 2 apps on the iPad. And of course, 10 years passed, or even more than 10 years, and we redesigned, redid all the app from the scratch. So this is not like the update, it's just like a brand new app with new features, new interesting things. And as you are listening to this podcast on Portal Games website, should be already posted the press release with information all about the new app, what new features, what new options you will find in this app. And I wanted to say in this podcast, so you hear it from me, all of the owners of the app, for all of you, it will be just update. So you will not have to buy this new app, even though this is technically brand new code. You will just click update and you will get it for free. All the new owners, of course, we appreciate them if they buy the app. So yes, we appreciate all the fans who are playing this game for years and spreading the word about this. I met so many people and they told me that on the plane, Neuroshima Hex, easy to play, easy to have fun. So this news of the week, finally press release about Neuroshima Hex, a brand new app. And it will be released at the very beginning of September. The pre-orders and street dates, the same as the last time. So August 12th, very, very soon. $1 million script, our party game, our COVID go home game. Gather your friends, 8 people, 10 people, 6 people, divide you into 2 teams, and each team has to come up with the idea for the script. If you like silly ideas, improvisation, scripts, you go.
And of course, at GenCon, for those going, Thursday night, 7 p.m. at GenCon, come to the Portal Games launch party for $1 Million Script, hosted by the Podfather of Gaming, Stephen Bonacore, and Daniel Stamm, the designer, who's a real Hollywood director with real cred. And he really likes me. I'm not sure why. Also going to be there, by the way, confirmed now, is Paula Deming. She's going to be part of it. And Z Garcia from the Dice Tower, one of the funniest guys in the world. And a load of other podcasters, Rob Rouse from Blue Peg, Pink Peg, and David Wainbright from Man vs. Meeple, and Russ from D6 Generation, Russ Wakeland. I'm trying to remember everyone's names. A whole bunch of people. It's going to be an amazing, fun, stupid, silly event. Portal Games, $1 million script launch party. Sorry.
I'm devastated. Like this is the first time I'm not going to Gen Con, and this is seriously, it sounds like the best event in years. Like all the funniest people in the industry sitting in a one room, and I'm not there. Like this is freaking insane.
You are one ticket away from going. I'll buy the ticket for you. Come on, come to. Yeah, I know it's like impossible to like get over here.
Yeah,
you know,
borders are closed for
borders.
EU.
This, yeah, sorry.
But this is ridiculous. Like this is all the super awesome people from the industry playing this game, and I won't be there.
We're going to be filming it. And guess what? Professional cinematographers are filming it because Daniel can get them to do this. It's gonna be. Go get a ticket. It's a ticketed event for this launch party Thursday, 7 p.m. at Gen Con.
Yep. If you are going, guys, if you are going to Gen Con, this is like the biggest mistake of your life. If you are not just buying this ticket for these $2 and having all these fun influencers and podcasters just being silly for 1 hour. This is like, I miss it so much.
Yep.
Where I was? Oh yes, I was on my 3 days. And September 5th, the day of the Moloch release of the Neuroshima Hex. I will talk about this next week more because there's a new edition, so it's very, very interesting for all of you who don't have it here. The rumors from the HQ, the biggest news, of course, is that we are back from vacation. We are recording on Sunday, and on Monday is the first day when the company opens up after 2 weeks shutdown due to vacation. But I already wanted to share with all of our listeners, and this is news not only for Portal Games, it is news basically for the whole industry. There will not be reprints this year. The whole port situation in China, the whole problems with the manufacturers are absolutely terrible. And if you're looking to buy Vienna Connection, if you're looking to buy $1 million script, if you're looking to buy something, don't wait till November, don't wait till October, because if these items will sold out in September or August or October, companies have no freaking chance to reprint them due to the problems in China. So even if you, for instance, were planning, I will buy it later for Christmas, think about buying games today. And it's not only for Portal Games, it's for the whole industry struggling. And if you are on the Facebook groups, if you see what industry folks are talking, everybody talks about the huge problems with getting the product to America these days. So that was Slavik, Ignacy.
Let me continue on that. So I mean, and this is going to people who
this is going to be serious problem in Q4 when all these major hits will be out of stock and there's no way for us publishers bring it like restock.
I know that there's people out there probably that listen to this podcast that they think this section is a little salesy, like they don't care as much about this portion of the podcast. But let me bring some news directly into this section, because we don't have it in the news because there's not an article published. We normally go for articles published. But right now in the industry, we're talking about something, and it's not just this industry. People are talking about something called container apocalypse, the apocalypse of containers. A container load coming out of China that could have cost $3,000 a year ago, 2 years ago, let's say, 2 years ago, $3,000 is going for, hold your hat, $20,000 or more.
Or more. So, now it is more. It was 21,000 a few weeks ago. Now it is 23,000 as I know the prices.
So everybody out there, just think about this for a second. Let's just say you were putting a big box game on it. Something the size of Vienna Connection, which I'm now holding in my hand, right? This is a Ticket to Ride size, standard.
8,000 copies fit the container if you fit it very, very well. Like not
If you-
every manufacturer can do it. Like seriously, different manufacturers put a different number of games into the container. If you do it right, the best possible way, you fit 8,000 copies.
Just exactly. That's the most you can do of that game into a 40-foot called FCL. So think about that for a second. Before, you were adding the cost of under $1 a unit. And now you're adding a cost of almost $3 a unit. That is crazy. And this is going to have significant impact on everybody's pricing. And of course, we talk about the board game industry. So I'll not to belabor that, but just keep here. This is going to happen until everything sorts itself out. It will not be a permanent problem, but it's another great reason not to do reprints of games this year, because reprints sell slowly anyway, right? Slower. So you might as well hold off on that until this stuff fixes itself. Sorry, Ignacy, but I think that was good news to bring right into this discussion right now.
Yeah, because we all are get to used to that. Okay, I will buy it in the Christmas time. I will buy it later. It may be not later this year. This year is very, very difficult for the whole the logistic chains. And I wanted to, this is podcast about the business, so we want to share with you. So this is not true only for Portal games, for the whole industry. If you have this game on the radar, whatever it is, My Vienna Connection, or maybe something from Asmodee or another company, maybe you put it in the basket and just buy it right now, because you may miss it. And of course, on the forums, you can read will be very, very difficult Christmas with all these bestsellers. When they are out of stock, they will be out of stock. But this is the topic for the next few months.
Yes.
And the last thing from the HQ, we had 2 days marathon, like 2 days marathon from the morning till the late afternoon of playtesting 11, our football manager game. And I wanted to give shout out to my amazing team. As you guys know, they are on vacation. But for the playtesting, dozens of people came to the office and say, okay, I told my wife that I need to drop by, and they play the game. So we had full playtesting sessions for 2 days in a row. And as I said, I love my team. They really are geeks. They love games. And even though they had officially days off for playtesting 11, they came. So shout out to my team. And we made a great progress, a couple of changes. Very, very happy with that. And this is it. I have one last piece of news, the video of the week. I watched the first episode of the show Ted Lasso. The same day I watched another 4 episodes, and the next day I finished the whole season. I love the show. It's amazing. You guys all need to watch this show. I fell in love.
So yeah, I watched season 1 of Ted Lasso on a recommendation, which by the way is available on
Apple Plus.
Apple Plus only. It's an Apple TV
Exclusive
thing. So not everybody gets that, but I would get it. To see this series, Ted Lasso, and a second season is dropping now or this week or something like that. Yep. And it's kind of spans American and European stuff, because it's an American football coach, guy from the South, not a big important guy from some like college football, American football team. He goes to Europe to coach soccer, your football, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know the game, but they want him to fail. So that's the setup of the show. They're trying to make him fail, and of course, things happen. Funny.
The show is hilarious. The character is so amazing. He's opposite to Ignacy. He's optimistic. He's smiled all the time. I love him. I wish to be like Ted Lasso. He's now my role model.
He's like Stephen Bonacore, right? He's always happy. He's always positive.
Yep, I love him.
Great stuff. So what's going on here over at the Podfather of Gaming? First of all, sad news. The Bonacore brothers have ended the 10,000 step challenge with no definitive winner because, well, I couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take the pressure on my schedule of having to get out in the 90-degree Florida humid weather and walk. So we came to a mutual agreement. I had to pay him a little money to stop the bet. I have to give him a letter saying that he's in better shape than me, but we ended the bet. I'm going to continue the diet. I'm going to continue getting in shape. I just can't take the pressure anymore. So anybody out there who is doing a diet thing on their own, keep it up. Keep up the good work. It's still a good idea to try to stay in shape. I just couldn't take the pressure, Ignacy. There was so much pressure on me.
I fully respect what you were doing for the past few weeks, and I was serious last time
Months.
when I said it. Yes, and I said it once again, guys, if you have this mobilization to keep your body healthy, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of consequence, absolutely respect.
Yep.
And this is serious Ignacy from Poland.
Oh, serious Ignacy, serious Bonacor too. Your health is important. So do what you can to, keep your health. Hey, and it protects against like COVID. If you're in good health, you're less likely to get COVID, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The remodeling here at the Stronghold continues. Our front door is finally installed. 4 months of waiting for a front door from a manufacturer. I literally went ballistic on the vendor who, on the retailer, who it was out of their hands. Actually, I mean, from what I can tell, they weren't lying to me. The manufacturer was lying and lying. Oh, it's this week. Oh, it's on the truck. Oh, it's 4 months to wait for this front door. It's finally in. It looks gorgeous. Wait for the pictures. It's still not painted, but it's in. Things are going well. We have a working kitchen as well.
But these doors look like from the back end, from the Hobbiton, something like you love the Lord of the Rings like theme.
No.
Why not?
But it's a beautiful glass, like frosted glass front door. Pictures
Nice.
to follow on Facebook and things like that. I'll do a whole thing. The place is looking amazing. We have a working kitchen. We can actually start cooking like as of today. Everything, the dishwasher's in, the fridge, the stove, everything is in. We can actually use our kitchen for the first time in months since this whole project began. Still more things to do in there. The more of the upper cabinets that have glass have to get installed. That's happening this week. The hood for the stove is not complete. They're putting that in. And the biggest thing that's going to happen now is the unpacking. So Paula and I started yesterday unpacking all the boxes for the kitchen to get all the stuff to start doing things. We found the important stuff, the very, very, very important stuff. Now all the little appliances and things have to come out. And then once that's done, I hit the games. The games have to, because all of those were packed, games onto the game shelf. And then we're like really living, and we can really have like a housewarming party thing and bring people over, because it's still a disaster of boxes sitting there from the packing.
So unpacking the box of the games, you like the final prize for the whole effort, like this is the last moment, correct?
I like that. I like that attitude. Sure, that'll take us from disaster area to like I can now sit at my game table, which is just full of dust right now, but it's there. Clean the game table, play the first game on the game table. It'll be a very exciting moment. Correct. In like a week from the time you hear this, I will be in Lincoln, Nebraska at the Great Plains Game Festival as the very special guest of honor. Here goes Ignacy, if you're looking this on YouTube, showing his very special guest of honor at Orlando, Florida's Dice Tower Con 4 years ago. So Ignacy has not been very special guest of honor in 4 years. The Podfather will be very special guest of honor in Lincoln, Nebraska at the Great Plains Gaming Project. I can't wait to see everybody out there. Rachel Blasky, great friend of mine, is partly organizing that convention, and she got me out there. I'm going to see my friend Clint. He's out there. Our family plays games. I'm so excited to hang out with them. They're in Omaha, Nebraska. That's their city sisters. They're next to each other. They're 45 minutes. They're going to be there for the weekend. I mean, I can't wait. All these great people. I've got literally like events on the calendar the entire time. Rachel is going to run me ragged the whole time while I'm out there. But sign up for one of the events and let's play games together. Let's have drinks. We're going to a brewery. There's beers with Bonacor. We're going to a winery. It's going to be viticulture playing with Bonacor. There's a breakfast with Bonacor. Oh, I'm so excited to do that.
Hello, Europe. Hello, Europe. I need you to start inviting me as a guest of honor because I will not survive this
Well,
beep for another months.
fortunately, this is the last guest of honor that I have on the calendar. First and only
Okay.
in a long time. So you won't hear it again for a while. And then we roll into, after that, we're going to be rolling into the Gathering of Friends. You'll hear a lot about that. I can't wait to go and be there. But for now, that was a long beginning of the segment. Let's get over to our event deck. So what's the first thing that's going on right now is the fact that as we speak, the UKGE, right, the United Kingdom Games Expedition, right, UKGE Games Expo is going on right now, which is really cool. The probably the biggest, first and biggest convention worldwide, right? Of because we haven't had any big conventions at all, and this is a major one. And Ignacy, do you have anything that you've heard about it? Because this would be the last day right now. So basically, by the time we're saying this, the convention is just winding down. Have you
Yes,
heard any good news?
yeah, so we will for sure we will follow up when we see the official like statement from the convention, when we see some vloggers showing the report. So you should look forward for the next episode, most likely. But for now, and I hope that Steven then will say what I said in a better mood and better words. But in a Slavic way, congratulations, it happened. But from the pictures I saw in the internet, I put a link for Steven to find them. There was very low attendance, at least how it looked on the photos. So if this is a true, that shows still a bit of concern from the fans to go to the big gatherings of people, being concerned about playing board games in the face mask, etc., etc. So on one hand, super honest congratulations for the team to put out the first convention, first major convention in our industry. Absolutely respect for that. And then a bit of concern for the upcoming GenCon, for upcoming Essen, for all the upcoming conventions about the attendance, because what I saw in the photos was very demotivating. Lots of empty booths, empty corridors. It looked not very awesome on the photos. As I said, we wait for the official data from the convention. We wait for some vloggers to say how it was. But now, as I said, congratulations, but it didn't look awesome.
Very interesting. I can't wait to hear the data. I can't wait to hear people's impressions, and we'll hear about that, I'm sure, over the next week. The next thing is about Gen Con, and they've released their exhibitor map, and it's very I don't want to say sad, but it's very interesting, right? So normally we see these huge swaths of Asmodee companies that are all over. So the size of the hall has not changed, Ignacy. I don't know if you've
Correct.
seen the map. The hall
Yes,
size,
I recognize it. Yes.
right? Is it you recognize it? Every booth is numbered. It doesn't look like any booth is missing in any way. You can even see like the 100 aisle all the way to the 2800 aisle. So they're all there. But like the biggest companies that you can see on the map are eBay, obviously a tremendous multi-billion-dollar company, but I don't what they do there. I don't even know, right? What are they even doing there? They've got a big-ish booth. You see Catalyst, they're a pretty big company. And they have a slightly different segment, do a little board gaming and lots of like miniatures and things like that. They've got a big presence there right in the front. Pandasaurus is kind of got a big presence sort of in the middle. Weird Miniatures, Slugfest Games, but you're not seeing any other of the really big names and those who would have put their name on this map. Very interesting.
Yep, and as we said in the previous episodes, guys, this is your chance to interact with the companies that will be impossible in the regular year, because as we explained in past episode, it is impossible for the companies to go to the GenCon because there's no space and they're on the so-called waiting list. That means you wait for the 10 years and nothing will happen. Suddenly in this year, something happened because Asmodee and a couple of other companies pulled out of the convention. So these smaller companies have a chance. So go there, enjoy, meet them, learn about their product. I wish them all amazing convention. And as we said the last time, very, very interested to what will happen next year if Asmodee say we want to go back. What will happen with these publishers who are today at the convention?
Right.
The one thing that I really, really appreciate and I like in this new exhibit hall map, the artists, authors, and entertainers is moved from the central stage of the convention, because this is always very interesting to check all these paintings and illustrations, this amazing stuff. But it was always like quite weirdly placed, in my opinion, like in the middle of the board gaming area. Like you are going the publisher, bam, suddenly like play with the pictures, and then once again publisher. So moving it in the, I would say, not center of the hall, in my opinion, good idea.
So it's, that section appears to be bigger than it's ever been. Would you say so? I don't remember it being
yes,
anywhere near that size. So that's
yes, it was like 3 rows, maybe 4 rows, and here it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
Yeah, right.
So it is bigger for sure, but luckily it is moved, so it is not in the center like it used to be.
Looking forward to Gen Con. I can't wait to see what it's going to be like, and I highly recommend everybody tour that exhibit hall and check out the smaller exhibitors, because they're going to shine this year. I guarantee it. So I put all of the convention stuff together, Ignacy. See, I'm pretty good at this. So all the convention stuff, I brought it to the top because, well, let's talk about it together. And there's so much interesting information about it. PAX West, which will be the first major US geek culture show. It's not only board games, of course. It does have board games, but it has all kinds of geek culture. They're requiring COVID tests or negative or proof of vaccination. PAX West, set for Labor Day weekend in Seattle, will require attendees to show proof of vaccination or a recent negative COVID test in order to be admitted. The policy by the show, run by Penny Arcade and geek event-powered Reed Pop, takes health and safety policies to a new level as the Delta variant of the coronavirus creates a new surge in COVID cases in the U.S. PAX West is the first major live geek culture show in the U.S. since the event of the global pandemic, and its requirements for attendance are the strictest we've seen. Vaccinations must be completed at least 14 days before the show and validated by specific types of documentation. If the attendee chooses the testing option, they must provide proof of a negative antigen COVID-19 test within 6 hours of the event start time, or proof of a negative PCR COVID-19 test within 72 hours of each day of entry to the event. Wow. Masks will be required for all attendees. So that is ultra strict. So they are basically saying, get your ass vaccinated. If you don't got your ass vaccinated, you're going to have a test every day to be here. Wow. Kudos. I'm happy. I want people vaccinated. So they're talking, they're putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak. They're saying, if we are okay with having less attendance to keep everybody as safe as possible. Now, having masks with being vaccinated is a little excessive in my opinion, but okay. You know what? Safety before anything else. Ignacy?
Yeah. Of course, the same will be for sure in Essen this year. So we should expect these policies this year. The same was at UK Game Expo, that the face masks were in use. We don't want to have like a spread of the coronavirus during the convention, and we don't want to have everything shut down once again next year.
Very, very interesting. So something very near and dear to my heart. Trisha Sydney, who has worked at Indie Boards and Cards, and before that, Action Phase Games, which was acquired by Indie Boards and Cards, and then, of course, worked with me, with Stronghold as well, under the umbrella of Indie Game Studios, has left the company. And she says after 5 or 6 years, including active Action Phase, she's now going to work over at Skybound Entertainment. Now, Skybound Entertainment is a very different kind of company. They do a few games, but they're a comic company. They work on huge IPs like Walking Dead, um, things that I've never heard of because these, I'm not really a comic person. They don't have the Marvel IPs and things like that, but they've got a slew of IPs that they work with. So this is a bigger position for her. I'm very happy for her. I'm very sad, of course, that she's leaving a company that I retired from and that I founded on the Stronghold game side. But happy that Trisha is finding something that bigger and better that she loves to do. So kudos to her. And as Ignacy wrote here, the transfer window within the industry, of course, is now open, and people will be moving around again as things open up.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations. All the best in the new position. All the best for the previous company as well. Hopefully everybody is happy and have a great upcoming years.
Yep, indeed. Now, this is something from a company that I've been following, Hachette, French book seller, right?
Yep.
Book distributor. Simon and Schuster, like that would be like the equivalent in the US. They are the fourth biggest book publisher and distributor in the world, biggest in France. And Ignacy, you put this on here. What is this interesting information that they've now got into board games? We've talked about this, and I've predicted that they're going to be like the next big company in this industry. Ignacy, what are they doing here that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, they announced that they are opening distribution in UK, which is very interesting. So we just mentioned that they are a distributor of books in France and they are a massive distributor. But as we reported 2 years ago, they wanted to go into the board games, and now the announcement is that they are starting like a new department of the company, and they will distribute games in UK. So for all of you who don't know how the distribution in UK works right now, there was a company called Devium many years ago.
Yep.
And that was obviously bought by Asmodee, and now it is called Asmodee Distribution or something like that. And for instance, for the company like Portal Games, if we want to have Imperial Settlers or Detective or Robinson Crusoe being available in game stores in the UK, we sell it to Asmodee in UK, and they distribute it to the particular game stores in UK. And now Hachette announced, hey, we are the new distributor in UK, and there is like a new option for you to distribute games. And on the website that Steven probably is now browsing,
Yep.
they have a catalog of the games they have in the offer. Of course, it is now quite a small catalog and just a few partners, but of course we expect that with every single week or month they will add more and more clients, so they become major distributor in UK. Very interesting move. Like the first, like the first place to compete with Asmodee. They are looking at UK and want to see if they can be better than Asmodee distribution.
The landscape of distribution in the UK has always been a little bit weird. Estevium, which has been owned by Asmodee for a long time. They just rebranded it to Asmodee UK. They were like the only distributor there. Now, not really only, but it was like them, and then the second person was so much smaller. I believe it was Spiral Galaxy was the second biggest.
Which is a big online store basically.
Which was a big online store, but they also distributed. So they were in a mixed, weird kind of place. Now we're going to see Hachette getting there. I think I got to tell you how really good I think that is. I don't like monopolies, right? Monopolies are bad. People talk about Asmodee as a monopoly. It's not.
Stop attacking Hasbro.
Yes. when you have one person only doing the work in a given segment, in a given tier of an industry, that's bad. So as Estevium, which was always a great company, they always did good work. It was problematic, even over at Stronghold Games, to really have them work hard for us. And especially since they had Asmodee games there. So I had to have Asmodee distributing in there. It didn't work out well, in my opinion. They needed the competition. Spiral Galaxy tried to get in there. They did some of it. We tried to help them out. Now we have Hachette. Huge company. I think this could really change the landscape of distribution in the UK. In fact, I might even go do some investigative reporting here, reach out to PSI. I'm writing this down right now and see how they're going to be dealing with this. PSI Hachette in UK. Question mark.
That's why we were nominated for Golden Geek.
That's
We
right.
are the best.
Because I know everybody and I'm going to go talk to them and see, tell me how you're going to be dealing with this. And I think you should deal with Hachette. Good company. Ignacy's telling me it's time for me to move on, right, Ignacy? So let's get over to strategy and tactics. All right, Dylan Black, who's Moosacious on Board Game Geek, he asks, greetings to you both. Do you write off personal board game purchases as a business expense? I would assume as a publisher, it's important to do R&D, research and development. So Ignacy, I will go first. So under Stronghold Games, any board game that I purchased is a business expense. Now, I will not say that they were personal games because you can't write off a personal item for your business. However, it's a board game. I'm going to play this board game, and everything I learn about this board game can potentially get incorporated into my business on some level. And I asked my accountant this exact question. And I said, Neil, yes, I can write the game as well. He goes, you're in the publishing game business. Yes, you can buy board games as a company expense. They're not technically personal games. They're company games, but you play them in your leisure time, you learn things. Ignacy, you can speak to Polish law on this if you'd like, but yeah, I'm assuming it's the same thing.
Of course, the Polish law is super complicated. Of course, I discussed with my accountant if I can do it or not. Technically, some games I do. Like for instance, there was a game called the Unimperium that was released in Poland. I was not interested in the game to have it in my collection, but I needed to test it. I really needed to know it because it's one of the major releases of the year. So I bought Unimperium and I took the invoice and put it in the company cost, and every employee, well, not every, but most of the employee played the game because we wanted to know the game. But if I'm doing a P500 of GMT game, this is my game, this is my personal expense, and I'm not going to go to my accountant with some invoices from GMT in English and translate them into Polish and explain what I was doing. So yeah, sometimes I go to the game store to buy all these hot items so my development team and me can play them, and this is seriously R&D development. But sometimes when I do something for just me and Mary, I just go to game store, buy it, and I don't take invoice to my accountant.
Good answer. Good answer for your accountant. Nostro Dunwich, who's he's ex-Nostro Dunwich. He doesn't give his real name. Okay. On Board Game Geek, I have been listening since the podcast first started. I remember him. He's been giving us many questions. Thank you so much for that, X. It is amazing considering how busy you both are and have kept the podcast going. Thank you. Consider for a moment the most outside your normal style game you publish. What element of that game actually convinced you to publish the game? Was it a mechanic, some kind of hook, the market potential, or something else? Thanks to Stephen Ignacy for choosing my question. Email sent and greetings from Nashua. Oh, he's in New Hampshire, actually. Okay, cool. I assume Nashua, New Hampshire. I know the place. I'm ordering a car from there, actually. Long story. Go ahead.
Yeah, each time we were going out of our comfort zone in terms of our catalog, it was always that I played the prototype and I absolutely loved it. The mechanic was interesting. There was so many innovative ideas in this, and I said, guys, let's go for it. It's a really brilliant game, and we see what happens. And sometimes that was right decision. Like for instance, in 2015, we did the game called Tides of Time, which was a micro game. So I was known for big Robinson Crusoe, big Imperial Settlers, big titles, and then we released a micro game that has only 16 cards. That was a risk. It paid off. The game had amazing reviews. We sold thousands of copies. That was a success. But then the next year we released a children game called My Happy Farm, which I adored and loved, and I believed in that. And yes, that was a failure for our company because we didn't have another family games in the catalog, and our distributor and our retailers, our fans didn't want to pick up a family game from us. and that was like not super successful. So it was always so far a enjoyment of playing the prototype and then convincing ourselves, hey, give it a try. Now it's easier these days because these days we have a Kickstarter/GameFound. So as you guys know, in September I go to GameFound with the game of the football. And it's the same case. This is totally out of our comfort zone. We do science fiction games. This is portal games. We do meaty, geeky stuff. So going with a football game is a crazy idea. But I love the prototype, and I decided let's do it. With the GameFound campaign, it is easier for us because there's no risk. Like I will just show the project. If there are funds, we will fund it. If there is no funds, we will not lose money. So these days it is easier to go out of your comfort zone. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you make a mistake.
And with me, the games that I play the least are heavy euros, and I've talked about that. It's just not my style. It doesn't mean I don't like them. I just don't want to like hurt my brain as I'm playing a game and trying to kind of relax. So but I publish so many. I publish plenty of heavy euros. Why? Because there is a market. There's a large market for them. The market has changed, right? We've always talked about how the market has changed over the years, and things have tended toward the lighter side over the last several years. But there's still a significant market out there. People are buying them, and I wanted to publish them. And I worked with some of the designers of some of the heaviest games. So Vital Lacerda, right? We did both CO2 and Kanban, and they're phenomenal games. I just don't pull it off my shelf very often to play it, but phenomenal game. I did play it, of course. I played the game. I said, this is genius. I don't want to play it again for a while. Genius. Let's do this game. And then I assigned somebody who really loves this, Paul NKO. I talk about Paul all the time. He's amazing. He just gets this and he wants to burn his brain as he's playing the games. Awesome, Paul. Thank you for your help with Vital's games. So that's the reason that I would play, that I would publish those kinds of games. John Gallant, who's at Cheeseburger on Board Game Geek, he says, while on the whole, board game industry is small compared to many other things, of course. However, publishers do have an audience and a platform to spread awareness about certain issues. I'm wondering if you think any board game publisher will take a stand publicly by moving manufacturing out of China in protest of the Muslim concentration camps that they're currently housing. We're talking like kind of politics here, I think. So I'm not sure how deep we're going to go in here. I know games are supposed to be fun and can act as a form of escapism. However, sticking our heads in the sand when human rights atrocities are happening only ensures that they will continue. So that's a heavy, heavy topic. I don't know how to really address this other than to say, I think that the landscape of business being done in China is going to change for so many reasons over the next several years. It's not going to change overnight. It's not going to change on a dime. People need to use certain elements of Chinese manufacturing and things like that, at least right now. But things are getting more and more expensive there. Things are economic on a lot of levels. Will things change completely? Multi-billion-dollar companies need China and do business in China. You can't expect us small guys to all of a sudden unilaterally pull out, especially since there's very few other places really to do this exact thing that we do there. Now, we do print in many places, print even in America at a higher cost, print in Europe at a higher cost. So over time, this is one example of many things that China are bad actors about. They steal IPs, not the government, but the many businesses go and steal IPs. Very heavy topic. Ignacy, you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, we had here in Poland on Polish forums when there was information about these container things and the problem, and people are saying, so why you are not moving the production out of China? It is impossible to produce some of the elements out of China. If we want to do a Robinson Crusoe Collector's Edition, we must do it in China. And of course, we can consider, hey, let's not produce this game. Let's go to just a card game. But of course, it is impossible for us to run the business. So we try to be as good company as possible. We do a lot of positive work in different areas, like doing charity auctions, etc., etc. So we try to be positive, but there are some issues, and this one is super heavy, that the company, small board game company, have no chance to do anything. This is the moment when the politicians have to act, or at least a much bigger company, because as John mentioned, the board game industry is a small company, and even if all the companies from our industry, and even if Portal Games, Andy Bows and Cards, and other small publishers remove the production from China, they will not even notice us. Like, we are so small. So like we would go out of the business, and it will nothing change. So this is a moment when we try to do something good in different areas, and vote for the right politicians to change the situation.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because the whole industry can pull out of manufacturing in China, and not a single thing would happen to China.
Yeah, they would like whatever.
They'd be like, we're not a fraction of a fraction percent of manufacturing there. We're too small. You look at tech manufacturing, it's a whole nother story.
Different story. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's see how it plays out in the long run. So we have, who do we have here now? We have Baker Mitchell, who's at Baker3MD on Board Game Geek. He says something interesting. He says, I recently saw a Twitter thread concerning a possible 25% increased tariff on toys and games manufactured in China and sent to the US. This was 2 years ago, approximately, when we were talking about this. It's an older question. Can you discuss this without getting too political? So but it's not political, really. This was simply what would happen if this actually went in? Like that's the question that we are going to try to answer. What would happen to gaming if this happened? And we even see right now a bigger, or as big a thing happening with the containers, where we had a approximately 7 times, give or take, increase in this element of the hobby, of the publishing portion of the hobby occur. A 25% increase, of course, is on the cost of goods manufactured. So that's how you have to think about it. Let's say a game, $50 game, is $10 to manufacture, and that $10 then gets taxed potentially at a higher tariff rate, so that would add $250. I just mentioned on the container apocalypse thing that's almost about the same price as being done on those containers. So similar scale of what's happening between these two. It's bad if it would have happened. Containers are happening, and it's bad. Prices will go up if this happens. And we reported back then, too, that prices would go up if this happened. Ignacy?
Yeah, I recorded 2 weeks ago for our Polish YouTube channel the video about prices going up. That is like, it is not happening, but it will happen in upcoming months. There is no way that the industry can, survive the changes in the cost of production and the cost of logistic without changing MSRP. So it will happen. So guys, you need to prepare for that. You need to understand the board games is amazing hobby. And maybe you will need to pay $5 or $10 more, and be fine with that. Nobody's trying to rip anybody. It's just costs are going up, and we are like, nobody will believe publisher that when he says that he's working on the small margin, but this is really the case. Like, we are not the most profitable industry. None of the publisher, have a private jet or something like that. We are just trying our best. But this is definitely not the best industry for comparing to margins. And if these margins go down and down due to the increase of the cost, at some point we need to pass this problem on the customer. The good news is that still, out of the $60 or $70 game, you have so many hours of a great fun compared to cinema or whatever, that you will have fun anyway.
Absolutely. And with that, let's get over to play testing. All right, Ignacy, simple question, easy question. When you play a game, do you request a specific player color? If so, why?
Yeah, of course, yes.
You do? Okay.
Yes, and that's interesting if there will be a people who will say no. I would be very surprised. So I played Red for the long time, for like many, many years. And then daughter of Mary started to play with us. And we were very happy at home that now we can play 3-player games. But she said she wants to play Red. So because I really wanted her to play with us, I said, okay, you have the Red. For the upcoming 2 years, I was making mistakes when I was playing games because I was, thinking about the red pawns and my were not no more red. So yes, it's always funny when there's 2 players and they are fighting for the particular color because this is how I play at home. At home I always play blue, and now there's a problem. And I was in so many situations at the game table when players confused and their pawns and it changed the strategy. So yes, we get used to that and we prefer our colors. And if I can even answer on the production level, when we produce the game, when we design game, we have the list of the most popular colors. So we want our fans to be happy. So there has to be green pound and blue pound and red pound and black pound. So this we are thinking about you gamers. And yes, this is our geeky stuff, right?
Absolutely. So with me, I have a very similar story to that. With me, for years, from the beginning of my gaming, well, not from the beginning of my gaming, but for years of my older adult life, even before Stronghold, I played yellow. Why did I play yellow? As you get older, your eyes get a little bit, less good, and it's the highest contrast color on the board, right? The board's got all these colors on it. You put a blue thing on the thing or a red, you can't even see it's there. You put yellow, boom, it's bright, it's yellow. Hey, so I played yellow for the longest time. Of course, everybody considers me, Mr. Red. Stronghold Games obnoxious red was the color that I used to call our shirts.
That's true.
So now and for a while, I've been training myself to play red always, and I've gotten it. But yes, anytime somebody shoves a different color, like, oh no, I'm taking yellow, and I had a friend back in New Jersey that he played yellow, so we would fight over yellows when I played with him. But anytime somebody gives me another color, whatever that color, say there's no yellow in the game, right, and I have to play black, green, whatever.
You need to have in your pocket couple of pounds in your color, right? Like
I make mistakes every time. I'm looking at the wrong things and I'm moving. I can't believe I did that. So
we played. I don't know if you guys know the old Spiel des Jahres nominee Verflix. That's in English. That's life. And my wife and our friend for the half of the game played the same pawn. Like they didn't recognize it. They were moving the same pawn, and this pawn was winning. And I was like, "Why this pawn is so far away?"
Oh my god, that's so funny.
This is mine. And I said, "No, this is mine." And it turned out they both were activating the same pawn.
That is great.
Yeah, this pawn won the game. That's right.
The pawn won. Neither of them won. That's great.
Yeah.
So Ignacy right now is going to create a thread in our guild on Board Game Geek, and we want you to answer the question: do you request a specific player color when you play a game? If so, why? So please go to our guild on Board Game Geek, find that playtesting thread right now, post your answer to the question, and meanwhile, while Ignacy's doing that, I'm going to go to the final scoring. Thank you all so much for listening. Help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts. To ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment, you must post them in the correct guild on Board Game Geek, in the correct thread in the guild on Board Game Geek to answer our question to you from our playtesting segment. Also, go to our guild on Board Game Geek and look for the thread with this episode's question. Board Games Insider has a Facebook page, so please like us on Facebook. Also on Facebook, please like Ignacy's page and Steven's page, /Portal Publishing and /Podfather Gaming. Our websites, portalgamesus.com, podfathergaming.com. Please go there, sign up for the newsletters, and get up-to-the-minute information on what's happening at Portal Games and with the Podfather. On social media, you can speak directly to Ignacy and Steven. We love talking to you. On Twitter and Instagram, it's at Portal Games US and at Podfather Gaming. On YouTube, the channel names Portal Games Movies, Portal Games Gameplays, and the Podfather of Gaming. Convention season starting. We're going to see you soon. We really hope. Meanwhile, Board Games Insider is professionally edited by Matthew Jude from This Game is Broken podcast. If you'd like him to edit your podcast, please contact him on Twitter or email at thisgameisbrokenpodcast@gmail.com. Also, that lovely voice you hear doing our intro, outro, and in between segments is that of Ray Greenlee. He can be contacted to do voiceover work at raygreenleevoiceover.com. Ignacy, I see you have something special to tell our fans. I love when I see something down here that you can tell them. So what's going on?
Yes, and before I go there, I just want to thank our listeners who answered the question from the last week about reading H.P. Lovecraft, and 100% of the answers were yes, we read them. So I appreciate you, our fans. I appreciate that you are reading the classic stories and then you play Arkham Horror and have a great time.
That's great.
And the news, the special secret report next week, I will discuss in the podcast about the Day of the Moloch. Our listeners remember that there is a special day once a year when we celebrate Neuroshima Hex, the lore, the world, because on September 5th, according to the books, the Moloch attacked humanity and the whole lore of the game started. And the September 5th is coming. So as always, we prepared something for our fans and I will discuss it next week. So listen to us and next Wednesday as well.
That is awesome. I love that you celebrate that and make it something for the fans too. Fantastic. Well, everybody, thank you again for listening to us. We'll see you in a week. Bye now.
Bye-bye.